We're getting ready to try some Joey's hot sauce. This is Priscilla the Creeper.
Cool.
This is a 3-state. My name is Zach. Let's try and burn our stomachs.
I'm Michael Lassiter, Murder the Media. Marshall.
Hey, I'm Marshall.
Graham.
Alright guys, let's try this stuff out.
Alright. Yeah.
So open it up. Let's see. So this one,
Show the bottle of the camera too, really. Perfect.
we got the Joey's right here. So this is a 50-50. It's 4 out of 5 peppers. Let's see how much this one burns. 4 out of 5 peppers this one is.
Okay, let's do a finger
Dead one.
dab.
Oh my goodness.
It will not come on my finger.
There it is.
Oh.
That may be all you need.
Alright.
4 out of 5 peppers.
I'm probably going to die of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Actually, damn, that's good. That is really good.
Oh, that's delicious.
That's not.
Why will it
Wow.
not come out of my finger?
Shake it harder. Like you're getting you something. That is really good, actually. You get the heat build up in the back end.
Yeah, I see what they call it, the creeper.
Yep, there's the creeper.
Not
Yep.
suffering.
No.
Yet, but
I can see the.
no, that's
Nothing coming out
delicious.
of my finger.
Delicious flavor.
Yeah, we're having difficulties here.
Can you shake it first?
Gotta give it the old Heinz 57. There we go.
Oh, there
There we
we
go.
Wow.
That's plenty.
It's damn good tasting.
That's delicious.
But it's got the creeper.
Does creep on you. But it's
All right, now we're gonna try
you're
one.
not suffering. You know, it's
Now we got, this is going to be the 3 out of 5 peppers. So let's try this
Actually, it
one.
wasn't bad.
But it's got the creeper, it comes up a little bit. That's really good tasting.
Very good taste.
All right, this one's a thinner one for sure. That one's got more peppers in it.
more vinegary.
Yeah, more vinegary.
I'm really the guy over here going this, yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
That's good tanginess.
Yeah.
I like
Good
that.
flavor. I'm not a big hot sauce guy.
I'm not either because it kills me, but
I
this
really
is not
love.
killing.
Actually,
They're both delicious, but I love the first. I love the first one has the most like
The more
beautiful
flavor.
flavor.
Yeah, more flavor completely.
Yeah,
This one.
I love-
Joey's
I
hot
love that
sauce
first one.
is the best hot sauce I've ever had in my life. Eat Joey's hot sauce and watch the Anthony Rogers show.
I still like it, but if I was gonna use one, I'd use
Whoa! Down he goes.
Republican Anthony Rogers has no previous political experience. Rogers, a comedian, is well known for a podcast called The Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey man, this is Tommy Chong, and right now you're listening to the Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, it's Carol Baskin, and you are listening to The Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey y'all, this is Kevin from Candlebox. You are listening to the funny man Anthony Rogers.
Hey, my name is Alex Sulkin, writer of Ted and Family Guy, and you're listening to The Anthony Rogers Show. Lucky you.
Welcome back to the single greatest show in the entire universe. With your host Anthony Rogers and your host Sean Danielson. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man. We have a crazy lineup today. If you guys saw the lobby right now, you'd be thinking this is a circus tonight. We got some crazy guests. We got Representative Hicks, Missouri State Rep. He'll be on in a second. We got Michaela Taylor, radio personality. We got Mike and Carl from IBM, Important Business Meeting on Murder Media. This is going to be a nuts show. We already have hella comments, it looks like. We're going to start this up, and I'll introduce everybody slowly so as everybody gets there. I'll do an order of how I feel. Carl from IBM and Murder the Media. How you doing, brother?
Hello, how's it going?
Mike Laster from Murder the Media and IBM as well. And then we got...
Hey, good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. We got Representative Hicks out of Missouri. How you doing, brother?
how are you doing?
Good, man. Congratulations on your win, by the way.
Thank you.
No problem. And then we got Michaela Taylor out of Texas, radio personality. So we got a full house tonight. How are you all doing?
Doing incredible.
Well, answer.
I'm actually on the Space Coast in Florida, but Texas is close enough.
Well, you're out of Texas, right? You're from
Yeah,
Texas?
yeah.
Okay. Well, I feel like Mike, Carl, and Hicks all look professional, and the rest of us look like idiots. I should have worn the suit. If I knew everybody else would wear a suit with me.
Yeah, you didn't get the cue there.
Yeah, I didn't get the meeting that everyone's supposed to dress professional. But so Hicks,
that white shirt you got is pretty. It's a nice white shirt.
Yeah, that is the cleanest shirt I've ever seen in my life. So what's it like? This is your your second? We're going into your second month as a representative.
Yeah, we're in the second month now. It's a circus up here. We'll say that. That's for sure. There's a lot of crazy stuff that we've been working on up here. A lot of committee hearings. We've been dealing a lot with the whole transgender issue that's going on lately, and then trying to deal with the crime issues that are in St. Louis City as well. So it's been a lot. We'll say that so far, but all good things.
Yeah, congratulations! As somebody that ran for office, what's it like winning?
It's surreal. I guess that's the best way to put it. It's surreal. It's one of those things where it's like, it feels like imposter syndrome is the best way to put it. Like, you're like, are you supposed to be there? Like, oh yeah, I am supposed to be there and doing it and everything. But it's rewarding though. I will say that it's something like it's cool to see your dreams of what you set out to do actually come to fruition, and to be able to actually capitalize on it and continue to do the work that for the people that actually put you here. So it's definitely a position that I don't take lightly. And I'm really just enjoying being able to actually get good things done up here.
That's awesome. Sean and I were talking earlier about how Missouri is the best state that ever existed, and we're proud to have you representing it.
You are not wrong. We'll say that.
My favorite state, also God's favorite state. I heard.
Yeah.
Actually, he was. I was listening. Missouri's cool. Have you held any political offices before, or was this your first rodeo for holding office?
It's unfortunate. I guess some people would say I'm an attorney as well. I was over at the Attorney General's office before I came over here to the House, so I kind of have a little bit of background and understanding what's going on around here and different things like that. So I'm new to the scene, but I'm not new to the scene, if that makes sense as well with it. But yeah, no, it's the first political office. So it's, like I said, great so far, honestly. Like, meet some interesting characters up here. Everybody's knocking down your door for something, every single day here. So it's always an eventful time. I think there's some hearings going on downstairs right now that are still going on. So they started at like 4:30.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I was laughing at the spam comment.
Do you represent?
Oh, what'd you say?
What area? I don't know the districts.
I'm out in Lake St. Louis area, so St. Charles County. We'll say God's country out that way.
God's country.
Cool. Yeah, Carl and I
that was
are
Jefferson
here
City.
in St. Louis County.
I don't know if that's Jefferson City. I might be going a little too far west at that point. I think St. Charles is where it's at. Yeah.
I like St. Charles. St. Charles is good.
Good
place.
Yeah, we're on the wrong side of the river here in St. Louis.
There's always room over here. I'll say that. There's always room on the other side. So feel free to come on out.
They don't like my stand-up routine on the other.
Oh no, they didn't. They didn't. They didn't like your stand-up routine. You make
a couple light-hearted.
So we have some questions already. Like one of them's, "What's up, Sean?" Like, give it.
Yeah.
First question.
Not much is the answer.
With that. Dude, I love how there's like just spam on here too. Like there's no spam filter on this at all. It's just like someone's like trying to sell me followers on this.
Yeah, what is that shit, dude?
So like, I don't know. It's on Twitch, I think. It's a Twitch comment.
Are they
Are you
cheap?
gonna buy them?
Well, I should. I guess I only have 267 viewers right now, so I probably should buy them.
Yeah, whatever you're offering.
If anybody watching has any comments for a rock star, guys, the podcast, the state rep, comedians, I mean, we got a lot of people here, so it's like, if you have any questions in there, we'll obviously answer them. You're on the screen anyway. Even if I completely ignore you, you're on the screen, so you're in the game.
Being seen by the masses.
Yeah, and actually, at Hicks' district, Justin Hill was the state rep before you, and he was the first elected official we had on the show. Yeah, I think we had a couple cents, but I think he was the first we ever had on the podcast.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Now he's living the life in sunny Florida over there. So
yeah, he sold us out, didn't he?
That's all where all
Yep.
Missourians go.
Yeah, where else are you gonna go from Missouri other than Florida?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's only down from here, you know.
Leave. Missourian is moving to Florida.
You could go. I heard Indiana is pretty nice.
You heard wrong.
I don't know. I think I'd have to disagree with that there. I don't know.
You would be mistaken. One of my
It's called sarcasm. I've spent plenty of time there, and it was actually just Anthony and I having a state battle earlier where I was telling the Indiana story a couple years ago.
He was trying to tell me that Arkansas is a real state.
I like Arkansas.
You would.
I would.
It is.
I got a lot of friends
funny.
there.
It's funny because we're battling about Arkansas and Missouri, and they're essentially not a lot of. It's not like California and Missouri. You're trying to tell me Arkansas sucks, and you're living in Missouri.
The best state in the union. Yeah, that's the slogan.
Arkansas
it's been the slogan for 200 years.
It's what?
Arkansas is just southern Missouri.
Yeah,
pretty
much.
It's
It's like how Canada is America's hat. Yeah. Arkansas is like Missouri's pants.
Just a
That is an interesting analogy. I'll just put that there.
Well, it sounded true, and he said it confidently, so I believe it. I don't know.
Hey, that's like
And I'm wearing the suit, you know. It projects
And
authority.
Illinois is on our east side.
Yeah. We'll pretend Arkansas.
I'd consider Illinois a communist country, so I don't know about that.
I said they're the
Dude,
cancerous tumor.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, there's a reason people are fleeing it en masse. And I don't get the people. I mean, I get the people who've like lived there for generations and everything, and you know, don't want to leave home. But I just can't imagine living in a red county in a blue state. You know, it just seems kind of masochistic.
Well, you know,
that's the thing about Illinois is
expensive to move to.
Southern Illinois is very much like Kentucky. It has very little to do with Chicago, yet they're just by the rules of Chicago, and it's just insane. I would get the fuck out of there.
I'm so glad that St. Louis is as small as it is. St. Louis in Kansas City not being able to dominate Missouri politics.
Yep.
Things could be very different here.
Yeah,
that's true.
What are some of the things like you're kind of interested in, like Hicks? Like, what are some of the things like you're kind of like interested in doing?
So some of the bills that I'm working on personally, I'm working on revamping the sex offender statute here in the state of Missouri, ensuring that we are essentially doing it correctly, to not get into, high level, I guess, of it and everything like that's the best way I'll try to keep it is we have certain crimes that are in certain categories of the sex offender list that are crimes against children that should be lifetime registration requirements. So your child molestations, different things like that. So I'm working on moving those crimes down to lifetime registration requirements, as well as ensuring that we're capturing other vulnerable groups, such as people that are disabled or have mental capacities of children because of their disabilities. So making sure we're protecting vulnerable populations like that. Some of the other things I'm working on is working on the expungement statute here in the state as well, trying to make it more automated, kind of bring Missouri to the 21st century here and not keep us so mundane in how we go about expunging certain records that people have as well. So those are some of my main bills. Obviously, there's a few other background pieces, as I've talked about, that are going on here at the legislature that are more of the, I guess, put it like social issue bills or whatever you want to, however you want to label them, and so like that. So, for instance, when we had the hearing stuff on the transgender stuff, was it 2 weeks ago? We were here till like close to 2 a.m. in the morning, and everybody and their mother got to testify. So you had people that, I don't know, all walks of life, as far as like people that have transitioned from boys to girls, girls to boys, trying to talk to us and tell us how essentially we shouldn't be enacting certain laws to protect children from the harms of doing things like transition surgery or puberty blockers, things like that. And also doing different things as far as there was a bill that we heard that same night that dealt with drag queens, which was very interesting, which we had drag queens actually show up here to testify, and they were doing like catwalks down the aisle thing. It was a clown show like that. So
that's crazy. What was the issue with that? What was the
So that one there is dealing with best way to relate it is you know how you have to be of a certain age to go to strip clubs, different things like that. The bill is essentially saying that, hey, drag shows are similar enough to strip clubs that children should not essentially be allowed to attend these shows until they're of age. So it's very simple bills like that would make logical sense. Like you wouldn't send your kid to the strip club or anything like that. So it's like, why would you send your kid to these kind of events as well? And then we had also a bill that was dealing with making sure men can't play in women's sports as well. So
I want to see like a push where we only have trans sports. Like the NFL is all trans. What do you think, Michaela? What's your opinion?
I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good start. I have a couple questions about the drag queens and the shows. Like, are these drag queens, are they like stripping naked?
So there were some shows in Kansas City where there was some explicit things that were shown as far as breasts, different things like that. And that's what kind of, I didn't sponsor this bill, it was another sponsor bill, but that's kind of where it stemmed from. Like there's a few shows like that. I know there was supposed to be a show, I believe in Chesterfield over in St. Louis County.
It was Chesterfield, yeah.
Yeah, that.
So okay, let's so the breasts. If it was a drag queen and they were showing their breasts, wouldn't that be acceptable on Facebook? Like, isn't that something that could be seen on Facebook? If a drag queen that has not transitioned shows their breasts, they really have pecs, don't they?
Well, drag
should it be shown on Facebook?
I think that's a whole different question.
I mean,
on Facebook.
I mean, do you take your shirt off at the beach?
That question, I don't. I'm not
I mean-
Facebook. I don't deal with any of that.
Whether
Do you take your shirt off at the beach?
regardless, I don't want
What
my
it was to clarify.
regardless,
so
I don't want my fucking kid there.
yeah.
So you don't want your kid at the beach either.
What's that?
It's different, and you know it. Come on.
How's it different?
Because it's different. It's self-evident.
How so?
It's not something you have to explain. It's something different, and you know it. Come on.
Because they're dancing around and they have clothes that don't match their gender on. Is that why it's different?
No, it's
That's
because
not-
I mean, guys wear speedos at the beach.
It's degenerate. It's just degenerate
I mean,
behavior. One's degenerate,
so
and then
you let
one's
your
just
kids-
people at the beach not being sexual, not being degenerate.
It's
They're wearing
sexual
speedos. You
in
can almost
nature.
see their testicles.
We can talk about that too.
You can see. I mean, are you going to ban that too? I mean, are you going to ban camel toes?
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, we're better camel toes.
Also, I do have a.
We'll make sure we introduce them.
no more camel toes. I mean,
I think
Camel toes are pretty
I mean,
degenerate.
how far does this go? I mean,
it goes all the way,
I think
baby. We're
I
taking
mean,
it all the way.
I understand. Like, yeah, you wouldn't want strippers in a school. Of course, you would never want strippers in a school. I mean, that's common sense. That's across the board. And you would never want anything. You would never want kids around anything like that. But if they're singing karaoke, dancing around,
Dressed
I don't get it.
provocatively or dressed how?
Well, it doesn't matter the subject matter of the
It's not a
person. You still bring
karaoke show. Or
kids to
we
strip
call it a
clubs. Like,
karaoke show.
he's just saying it doesn't necessarily matter like that much. Like it just matters like that you don't bring them to like any kind of sexualization thing. It's not necessarily like preying on like drag shows.
That's essentially what it is. It's ensuring that kids aren't brought to things that are it's over sexualizing things. There's already so many different things out there, but this is one area where we can work on and stuff like that. So that's really what that bill is trying to do. It's not saying, like I say, it's not preventing those kind of shows or anything like that. It's just saying like, hey, under a certain age, until you're the age of an adult legally here in the state, that you're not allowed to just go off to these shows. That's all. It's a simple breakdown of the bill does.
and where can these shows not be next
Common
to?
sense.
Like where do these shows have to be?
No, you just card people that go in. Like they could be.
Well, see, now you're getting into an issue of zoning, and that's a whole different issue by itself. The bill. I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but the bill explicitly addresses children going to these shows. It's not. I don't believe, and I would have to look at it again, that it addresses zoning requirements for them.
Yeah, it's just like going to a bar. It's like getting ID going to a bar. You want people of like a certain age to participate in drinking, smoking, any kind of sexual act, stuff like that. So it's more or less that from my perspective. But
I don't understand why anyone has a problem with this bill. Why do you want children at these sexualized drag shows so badly?
Yeah,
I'm not saying I do.
Confuses me.
I'm not saying I do. I'm just wondering how far this goes. I'm a transgender woman. I've been transitioning for over a year now, and so I was born male. So does that mean I can't go sing karaoke at the bar down the street?
No,
or I'm going to get arrested? Or fined?
That's definitely not what it's saying.
What do I have to cover my breasts up all the way to do? Where does this go? Like, how far does this go? Do I get arrested just for being me and walking around?
You just lost your ability to drive, and you got to go in the kitchen.
I know, that's why my truck has dents all over it now.
Andre, I got some
That's how I knew my transition was going well, because my truck has dents all over it.
I was wondering what you're doing out of the kitchen. Actually, that was my next question.
Less funny when you.
What are you doing? What are you doing out of the kitchen?
I don't go out of the kitchen.
I need a sandwich right now.
Well, there's bread and there's cheese and there's ham in the fridge. Help yourself.
I guess you can open your own jars.
At least that's what my wife always told me. So I can't open my own jars anymore.
the estrogen is taken.
Y'all want to see? Like, I'll go get a jar. And I don't know if we have time for that. How long does this podcast go?
Grab a jar. Grab a jar.
I'll be out here for like 3 days.
That was always my thing, like transitioning. It's like why would you want to be the second best gender? You know, I always felt like being a dude's like awesome. You know, that was always the problem. I'm like, I don't know.
Hey, we are who we are. You know, that's it.
Yeah. Well, it's humbling. You know, it's like you know, you had like they have a good run being like the best gender. You may as well check out, you know, being second class.
You know, shrimp are born male and then they turn female as they go through their lives. So all of you, I would imagine, has had a transgender being in your mouth.
Humanity.
Oh man.
Just saying.
I think we should let men, because at least they'll be interesting then.
What do you think on what do you think about like women comedians?
I don't know.
Who, me? I think they're great.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering.
But you
that are good.
What's the next controversial subject we can tackle now and end the world?
Quiet in here.
Yeah, that's a good question there.
What's the next?
Well, are there any interesting gun laws bills going on right now?
I don't think that's it's a hot button issue, but I think Missouri's pretty set in where we are as far as constitutional carry. You know, just given the state by itself and given who controls the House and the Senate, I don't think anything's changed. There's been legislation amendments that are proposed amendments. Obviously, they haven't made it to the floor or anything like that. Trying to limit certain access for certain weapons and all that as well. But I don't think any of that's going to actually make it through. So nothing really interesting on that front. I would say crime is probably the next big topic. And tomorrow we're going to be voting on, we're going to have House debate or whatever on the crime bill that's currently out there. There's a crime bill that it does a few different things. One of the main things that it does is it goes towards appointing a special prosecutor in the city of St. Louis, given the high crime rate that's going on there. And essentially it specifies a certain type of crimes that the special prosecutor can go after within the city limits of it. So I think it's a good bill overall. I think it really is long overdue to ensure that we actually deal with a lot of the crime issues, whether that be property crime, violent felonies, different things like that go on in St. Louis City, because it really becomes a regional thing. And when you start to be labeled one of the highest areas for murders per capita in the U.S., then something has to be done, because obviously the prosecutor that's appointed there, who's been there for a while now, has not been prosecuting cases appropriately to actually get the outcomes that need to happen.
Yeah, Kim Gardner, for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah, she was backed by Soros money, wasn't she?
I don't know, actually.
I remember reading that.
You can see like the slow decline when the Democrats took over St. Louis. It just went like,
well,
they started that whole defund the police movement a few years back, and then they still pull money from it. Is like the mayor there pulls money from the police all the time. I know I've talked to police officers there, and many other members have. They essentially feel disenfranchised, like they don't have an incentive to do their job, because the cases that actually go through the prosecutor is slim to none on actual violent felonies, which are some of the main things we're worried about. In testimony the other week, last week, the week before last week, we had a hearing on the whole issue with St. Louis crime. Then Kim Gardner was supposed to come that following Monday and testify because we wanted to give her an opportunity to explain to the body what's going on in the city, give her the opportunity to explain herself, see if there's a way that we all can help each other. And what she ends up doing is sending somebody from her office that couldn't answer a question and then essentially was there representing the office, but the answers you got were, I don't know, because I don't know to almost everything. And the only thing they asked for is like, oh, instead of appointing a special prosecutor, how about you just give us money? And we're like, we're not just going to give you money because you're not fixing the issue that's going on there. Which is actually sad. To give you kind of a context, St. Louis City currently has somewhere near 3,600, 3,500, somewhere right around that number of cases that are pending review. And this could be an array of violent felonies, property crimes, carjackings, you name it, out there. And because these cases are pending, the individuals are out on bail, out on bond, they're roaming the streets, potentially committing more crimes that are going on out there. And to give context to it, a county like St. Louis County that has 3 times the population has a far significant less amount of cases that are out there waiting for review by itself. So that's a telling tale of you're not doing your job. And a lot of the discussion that we had was pretty much them saying that they're understaffed. But just a few years ago, Kim Gardner took, somewhere near $500,000 out of salaries and put it over into PR. And you're complaining about staffing. So it's like $500,000, you can hire some more attorneys to do the job if that's the issue. But obviously you don't give a crap about that. You're putting it over to PR to save your own face, pretty much, and promote your own, candidacy for the office. You're when you get elected in the office, you're there to serve the people, not hurt the people. And it's silly. It's silly on what's going on. They tried to bring it down to race. I had to say something about it and so like that. And it's like, no, this is not an issue of race. This is crime transcends race. It transcends gender. It transcends anything. I'm affected just by it as much as anybody else out there. And so like that. So, for them to try to boil it down to that, they have no credible argument on why the things are going on down there the way they are.
Yeah, it's like from my perspective, I think it's like foreign threats and domestic threats as well. I think basically other countries are trying to take us over while we're weak. They give us like a stuttering president as a puppet who's not really our president. They give us like all these, and it trickles down all the way to like local, and they let out criminals, they let out violent offenders. I mean, they're basically just trying to just ruin the best society that's ever existed in the world. And these people are paid off, they're bought off, and you're the first rep I've heard like in office say that basically you're there to represent the people. Like I've never heard a rep say that. They think they're like this like leader, ego, awesome guy, and or something. And they're just like, oh yeah, listen to me, slaves, And that's like what it sounds like to me anyway. And like and I think you made up a lot. I mean, you had a lot of good points. I think, bro. I think I think that's what it's about is representation. I mean, I don't think Joe Biden represents anyone other than like a private interest.
You got maybe the Chinese and their spy balloon.
yeah, like how are you gonna look weak to a shoe factory? You know what I mean? It's like insane to me. It's like insane to me. It's like China's like a bubble burst away from being in the 1300s, and they're trying to talk shit on America. It's like what are you talking about? You brought nothing to the table. You have no innovation. You have no. I mean, dude, it's just like. I don't know. I could go off in like paragraphs on this, but I'm going to save it. But it's just like nuts that they would even think they're in the game. It's like China and Russia aren't even in the game. They're like we're going to nuke you. I'm like, oh, you're going to use technology we came up with in the 40s that you stole? How edgy, It's like I'm just like I just don't even care. They're bragging about our accomplishments. Like we invented the nukes. You mean? And they're like, we're going to nuke you. I'm like, you're going to use our own inventions? Okay, you can't use a Russian invention because it wouldn't do anything. It's like insane.
Yeah, it is nice to hear you mention, representing the people and working for the people. That's what's in our system today. That's what's wrong with our system today. And if we, with that attitude, we could definitely raise ourselves back up.
Yeah, and I think that's where we have to kind of press the reset button. Me personally, it's I don't really give a crap about any of the glory or anything like that. And I tell people when they come in here and we talk about legislation, like I say I'm not married to my bills, my legislation. I don't care about getting the credit for it. I just care about us getting good ideas that work across by itself, and that's really the service piece of it, in my opinion. And I think there's too many people that are in politics and different things for the wrong reasons and not actually there for the people that actually put you there. So, and that's something that we have to fix. People go for sound bites. People are like, oh, what can I do today to progress my campaign, my agenda, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no. Let's reset it. I'm a firm believer in ensuring that, if you do good work and good results, they're going to vote you back in. You're going to get back where you need to in whatever it's 2, 4, whatever, how many years, it is. And so if you're doing good work, but if you're just sitting there and you're constantly worried about, oh, what's this post going to do? How many likes can I get? Blah, blah, blah. And stuff like that. Because you're not going to always be the most popular with your legislation. That's given. You can't appease everybody. And so like that. But what you try to do is you try to work with individuals, whether that, be Republicans and on some things, just depending on what it is, the Democrats as well, and see what you can actually get across that is actually good, solid legislation that helps majority of the people in your state, municipality, whatever you serve in.
Yeah, you brought up a good point too. I think in Machiavelli's The Prince, he talks about how the best leaders are not necessarily the most liked leaders, because it's about policy. It's not about a popularity contest. And I think that's a very important thing that you brought up. I think that was like with Trump too. I think this thing too. Like a lot of people didn't like Trump, but his policy was on point. If you didn't tell them who wrote the policy, who came up with the policy, they'd be like, "That's a good policy." But they're like, "Oh, it's Trump, so it's bad." It's like it's just weird, and it's affecting us like in a really weird way. I feel like America's full of like first graders or something, and they're either retarded or delusional or something. I'm not really sure what it is, but no one makes sense or tells the truth anymore.
Misguided.
No, it's definitely misguided, and it comes from multiple things. I think part of it, I'm not one of those people that are going to sit here and just blame the media for anything. I think it's the way we receive information, some of it, because everything is through your phone and it's a quick snapshot of this here, and then a lot of people don't go through and read what's actually going on. And if you do that, you start really realizing that, oh, okay, it's not what you think it is. It's not doing this, it's not doing that. Because people, I can't tell you how many emails I get that's like, this bill is going to do this, or this bill is going to do this here, or it's going to hurt these groups. It's like, where in this legislation does it say that? Where did you get this from? It's like, and then you have to go back and try to educate people and try to discuss with them why this is not doing this and why this legislation is good, which is a part of the job by itself. But you're going to get people that are like, oh, thank you for explaining it. I get more of that when I sit down and actually explain it to people, when I have time to actually do it. Unfortunately, I can't get to everybody that emails me and stuff like that. So that's the unfortunate thing, just because there's so many that come through. I'd spend all day. I wouldn't be on here right now. I'd be sitting here chugging away at my desk at emails.
You wouldn't be doing this important.
You just got in office too, so I appreciate you taking the time to do this, man. You're like a month or two in, and like I like what I'm hearing so far, to be honest, man. So I appreciate you taking the time. I thought I cut somebody off. Mike, were you talking or something? Sorry.
Oh, well, what I'd like to see is I'd like to see a bill to offer the 90s brick red license plates as a paid option. That's what I want to see.
That's not a bad idea.
They're classic. They're clean. I want them back.
Johnson-esque aesthetic to our plates.
Mm-hmm.
They're the most beautiful. Back to something like that. I don't like the squiggly line.
Yeah, there's been a real obsession with squiggly lines and Missouri plates for the past few decades.
I don't know why that is.
With our rivers.
Yeah, represents the river. Ooh.
Honestly, I don't personally understand what the little is it a no? It's not a well, could be the bicentennial plates now, but the plates before we had like a bird on there or something like that. Or
yeah, there was a blue bird.
I don't even know what.
And they have this
It was a
gradient, you know. They had 2 generations of those gradient plates, but yeah, I miss those brick red, just simple, nothing on it, brick red license plates from the 90s.
I live in St. Louis, and most people don't have license plates at all. Like it's just
you'll see a lot of expired tags. You'll see my dad was a police officer.
I can't say
fake temp tags that like they got them fake, but you know they were forgeries, but they're expired anyway. You know, like they take them and they're like, "What? That's mine." It's like, no, it's not. Get out of here. Go get a plate.
Yeah, so with those expired license plates, there have been talks about trying to fix that and remedy that issue altogether because there's too many people running around the state with expired temp tags and different things, and it's not only an issue of you not having your vehicle actually registered and licensed, but a lot of times you're avoiding sales tax. And even though I'm not in favor of personal property tax altogether, and I'd rather rid of it, you're really avoiding that there too, while everybody else in the state is having to pay that. And realistically, that's not fair. I'd rather work on solutions to get rid of personal property tax. But under the current structure, like I said, they're avoiding the tax systems as they are, and it's definitely an issue that's looking at to be remedied. We don't know exactly how we're going to remedy it yet, but it is in talk for that.
I would propose like accountability for taxes, almost like to where like some kind of like system where you could like you see where your tax dollars are going and then wean us off of taxes completely, because basically it's usury and it's just like I'm not really with it at all. And like I'd be more with taxes if like I saw where it went, instead of like murdering people in other countries and like arresting my friends for fucking saying the president's not real. And like, you know what I mean? And like I'd be more for it if they did anything. They're like, oh, it's the roads and schools. I'm like, well, the roads and schools suck. Like they're a joke. You know what I mean? And then they want to, and then these same crooks want to like nationalize healthcare. And I'm like, you guys are $29 trillion in debt, and you want to deal with healthcare? It's just like the whole thing's just like insane to me personally. And I don't feel like anyone should pay taxes. Like especially arguably, no one should pay taxes for the year 2020. They should all get their money back for that year. Nothing was even open, and then we still paid taxes. I think people can meet me there at least. And then but I don't just cut off taxes. Like schools are paid for, and certain things are. But if we had like a wean off of taxes, I mean, that's the most American thing we do is not pay taxes, from my perspective.
Yeah, and I think Missouri.
I'm pretty.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I'm pretty sure that income tax, I mean, in general, goes towards just paying the Federal Reserve that we allow them to print for us. I mean, it's completely fucking absurd. We should get rid of the federal. That would be a nice step forward. What's that?
No, I'm like the CIA is interrupting your feed.
Yeah, when you start talking about the Federal Reserve, that's what happens. No, I was just saying we got to get rid of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
That John.
Well, it's
Kennedy thought the same thing.
Yeah.
The best. Sorry. What I think the best thing we could do is get out of that. And like Marshall said in the comments, tax evasion is the most patriotic crime.
So can you explain again how you get out of paying taxes?
I'm not going to say that on a live feed.
Like do you go over to Illinois? Is that or how does that work? How do you get out of paying those taxes again?
Oh, what I
are you plan on avoiding that?
I don't know. How dare you?
So
So, I can't say this. I think Missouri is one of the more tax friendly states as far as we generally have low taxes in the state of Missouri in comparison to other states. If I'm not mistaken, I believe we just cut some more taxes back in September with a special session as well. And I think the legislative body altogether is always looking at ways that we can eliminate taxes, eliminate different spending that we don't need here in the state of Missouri. Because I personally am a firm believer that, government and our taxes are meant for like the basic necessities such as road, bridges, stuff, things like that. We're not meant to set up these huge social welfare systems, different things like that. Yes, schools do need money. I question how much money they need to a certain extent. And I would rather move to more of a system of, I am a school choice person. I rather have as many options out there as possible. Let parents be in charge of actually choosing what education you want to send your kids to, and not have to keep paying taxes for a school that you're not sending your kid to. So I think that, I think there should be further tax incentives for that there by itself. But I get, we do need public schools, things like that and stuff like that. But I think schools need to get to more performance-based and not where they currently are is when speaking of public schools, because they know they're going to always get money and stuff like that. So they get stagnant. It's just like anything else. If you know you're always going to get it, you're never going to actually try to really improve yourself or do things to better the school, the children, different things like that by itself. You're just going to keep doing the same status quo and push people and cycle people through it. And I question, are we really doing the best for our kids in that respect when it comes to schools, as far as how we go about funding these different entities?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. My wife and I homeschool our daughter, yet we still pay all these taxes into the school system here in the county. That doesn't make any sense. We should get that money back to be able to put that school in that we actually provide.
Yeah, no, but there is a law currently out there that deals with setting up, I think they call them scholarship accounts or whatever. I don't know the criteria off the top of my head for what qualifies for it, but there are some legislation that's actually law out there, but it needs to be expanded and really get at the whole school choice movement personally by itself. We really got to get into looking at making our kids more competitive. And I think parents are in the best position to choose that there. And the current structure of our system, it really encapsulates people into geographical areas is the best way to put it. So it's, I will use St. Louis City as a good example. A lot of school funding, not all of it, is generated by your personal property tax. That's based on the assessment of your vehicle, different things like that. Other property that you might own that qualifies under there. Also, I believe your real estate taxes, different things like that, contribute some portions of it as well. You have to look at the areas that where you're pulling from. If you're pulling from more disadvantaged communities, what you're doing is you're not getting as much taxes as you probably need to fund that school to the ability that it needs to be funded. So now you have underpaid teachers, not correct facilities for schools, for students, and that, I think that's the issue by itself. And then you move to other areas, we can use like Chesterfield or whatever, where they might have that tax base and, their schools are more high tech, different things like that. They're on the cutting edge of whatever technology that they're using for their classrooms and stuff like that. So you're really accidentally creating a disproportionate effect on different populations, depending on where you live, whether that be rural, city, urban, different things. So I think we need to get to a system to where we can say, hey, parents, you can either elect into the public school if you want to, or you can say, hey, take this amount of money, whatever the assessment is of what it costs a child to go to school that year and say, here, you can take them to a charter school, take them to a private school, homeschool them as well, based on whatever education you want to provide your child. It shouldn't be the state telling you this is where you have to be. And if not, you have to come up with the money to send your kid elsewhere and stuff like that while still paying for the other piece of it.
Right.
So it's not fair to parents. It's not fair to, it's not really fair to the children. I think it's really not setting them up for success either. It's a, school, I hate to say it, it's a business. You want as a parent, and I have a kid too, not school age yet, but I want the best for my kid. And that's what most parents do. You want the best for your kid. You want to send them to whatever they can go to learn the most they can, to be able to go to college or do a trade or whatever they want to do and be successful at it. And I'm a firm believer that it starts young. It doesn't start when you're in high school. It doesn't start when you're in middle school. It starts when you're in elementary school and you're learning the fundamental basics. That's really where it starts. And that's where our focus has to be.
You're gonna go far, man. I can tell, man. This is like your first month in, but you're gonna go far on this, man. I can tell, and I agree with most of what you said. And then these people are just like, they act like money fixes everything. Like the problem in St. Louis is that the schools don't have enough money. I'm like, I mean, I don't think that's even the problem. You know what I mean? It's like I personally, I think it's like the lack of family values, the lack of culture. There's several other problems before funding, I think. And I went to college out there, and I was like the only person with a laptop. I felt like, so money is a problem, but I think that I think there's so many bigger problems in this country that lead to that. Because my wife's a teacher, and like Brentwood, and they have a nice school, and I don't necessarily they have money, but I don't necessarily think it's money based is why it's nice. I think it's the people they build, the teachers they have there, and stuff. It's just a weird. There's so many factors, man. It's just crazy.
No, it's definitely a holistic approach. It's not one solution thing. You have to approach this from different pieces. It's just about what pieces are going to fit together here and actually create something, a system that actually works. Because I hate to say it, Missouri is not the cutting edge state on doing things new. I would hope that we change that at some point here. We have to get to a place to where we're willing to look at things and say, just because we did it for X amount of years, that doesn't mean it's the right way to go. Let's look at it and see if there's a better solution out there for it. And
it's like we let other market, like for marijuana, for example, like being an example of not being the lead of that. I think that held us back a lot because of all the money that Colorado and other places made. But also, I think it was smart to test market in those countries or those states. Excuse me. I think it was smart. Missouri kind of sits back and lets all the other states make mistakes and then adds to it, which I kind of like that aspect too. But I do think it needs more innovation, like you're saying. I think that we should be more innovative, especially the people here. I mean, this is like. I think Missouri is one of the best states in the union, if not the best. I mean, I love it here, and I've traveled. I'm a comedian. I travel everywhere, and I love it here, man. So, and I'm just hyped, man. And like this group of people is nuts to me, honestly. Though we got like comedians and podcasters, a state rep. Like Sean has gold records. Like the guy above you in this Brady Bunch thing, he has gold records. And then we have like huge podcast. I mean, like Carl and Mike's podcast is huge. Like on like Telegram and some other stuff, and like. And Michaela's a huge personality there too. In Texas, originally, but down in Florida. It's just like this is like an insane lineup. And like I know. I bet out of that 267 people watching live right now, at least 7 of them are feds.
With me and Mike, yeah.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and say hi to my case agents. Hello, guys.
Shout out to the NSA, the CCP, the FBI, the CIA. Hope you're all enjoying the show.
By the way, Teddy Humphreys, I said, please admit the government is scum and we can no longer vote our way out. I feeling you're right about that. Although I appreciate you, sir. You're
the gun.
You're a rare example of a good one, but the system is pretty fucked at this point.
There's still, if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen at a state and local level. I mean, it does seem like things are beyond redemption. You never know. I mean,
in the federal government, I agree with that. I think the president's
but it does seem an awful lot like there's everything is like it's too big a hill to climb to fix the federal government. But things
Demolish it.
can
Local
happen at the state level, and
politics,
not
you know?
everybody in state level
Yeah.
politics is a sketch ball, is out, is like well funded by foreign interest groups or what have you. They're not all out, in there for the wrong reasons. And
Well, Hicks's district's awesome too, because like the guy before him, Hill, like Justin Hill, he was like one
yeah,
of my
I
favorite.
met him.
One of my favorite. Yeah, you met him we met him in that winery. But no,
Mm-hmm.
he was like he was one of my favorite politicians, and like I mean, like, and from listening to you talk just on this podcast, man, I think you're killing it too. And it's like I'm very happy with most of Missouri's politicians, to be honest. I think we need a stronger governor, to be honest. But he's not bad, but I think we need a stronger governor, and we probably will next term. Hopefully it's not some like the people running kind of freak me out right now. Like people running looking like it's like the senator running and a couple other people like trying to take that spot, and they actually kind of freak me out a little bit. But
it's Kehoe. I think. Honestly, I haven't paid too much to the governor's race. I think Kehoe's potentially, maybe Ashcroft, and then I think Bill Eigels exploring it as well too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no disrespect. I think Parsons does a lot better than those guys, but I think we need to raise the bar a little bit and get like somebody. I don't know. Like I just don't think those guys are promising to me anyway. And maybe they could disprove that. It's like just my opinion at this moment right now. But I mean, I'd love to see a stronger governor. But because I mean, if we had a true Missouri governor, I don't think none of the state would have ever locked down. Because most of the state, I mean, where we're from, I'm from O'Fallon, so I'm like originally, I don't live there now, so I'm like right by your district. So I mean, that was like during that 2020 thing, like it was the same thing. There were buffets open, man. What I mean? It was just like that is
the great thing about St. Charles County, though. Like they persevered during the pandemic and everything. They said, no, we're not going to close. We're not going to do these things like that. And just talking to people in the county government, it seems like the best decision they made. Everybody from St. Louis County wanted to come over there because they couldn't do anything in St. Louis County. So all the restaurants were open. You could carry on with normal day life. Realizing that what was happening with the whole virus, which, it's serious and everything like that. It is serious. But at the same time, it really mainly affected certain groups of people as far as people that had pre-existing conditions or either the elderly population. It didn't affect younger people, children didn't really affect. You might have had the rare case or anything like that. So, we needed to protect those groups of people, but shutting down a whole society for those people when we could just maybe help them out in other ways like that. I don't think that was the answer the way we did, the way most of the country did it, I should say. And either St. Louis County did it. So I think St. Charles had it right. They definitely did it the right way, and they reaped the rewards of it.
Yeah, and at least Parson left it up to localities, It was better than a lot of states did. I'll agree.
And he's not bad. I'm not even saying he's bad. I just think of Missouri. I expect more out of Missouri. I feel like
it would have been nice to be like, because Missouri does have a history of passing things that override local government. I would have liked to see something like that, like you have with concealed carry. It overrides any local laws that might be passed. That bill that you were talking about earlier. You've got putting a special prosecutor in place to fix the mess of bad local government. I would have liked to see something like that with the so-called pandemic. To override. Keep these local tyrants from being able to destroy people's businesses, their livelihoods, as they did.
Yeah, I've never seen a virus destroy an economy. It's just like it was just the biggest effect was on the economy, and I think it's an act of war. And I think China and all these other countries are trying to pass us up and put us in submission, where we had to follow these stupid rules that didn't even make sense from my perspective. I mean, I didn't follow them, but everybody, I know a lot of people. They're just like they hid in their house like Anne Frank for 2 years, man. It's just like insane.
Yeah, no, the thing about it is you said the virus destroyed the economy. The virus didn't destroy the economy. People destroyed the economy. We chose to go about it in a certain way. The virus was something there. There's been other diseases that have been out there before. We persevered through it, just like we persevered through this here. It's just a part of life, and I think that's where we have to come to. You take whatever safety measures you can, but you don't stop life. You don't, for it. Is the thing about it. It's not a zombie apocalypse. Is the best way to put it.
People are sure.
Even then, I'm still going out to eat. I don't care if the world is. I'm still going to Olive Garden. I'm still getting those unlimited breadsticks, man. No matter what the situation of the world is, like you can't tell me where I could eat and what I can do. I never knew what like when I watched like the civil rights movement and stuff like that. I never realized what a drastic movement going to a restaurant was when they were told not to until we had to do it in a virus. You know what I mean? It's like people are like yelling at me. Like it was insane. It was like the fattest people trying to give me health advice too. It was just like delusional. It was just like it was like some overweight person with a mask on trying to tell me like health advice. I'm like, dude, you were insane and delusional. It's just like crazy.
I'm still trying to understand how in restaurants during then, how pretty much if you sat down at the table, you could take your mask off, but if you stood up, you're automatically able to transmit the virus. Like I don't get it. I just don't get it.
It's obedience training.
Future generations, God willing, will not be able to. They'll think that this is all exaggerated.
Yeah, no, that's exactly like they're gonna look.
Anthony,
back.
doesn't your beard kind of? Isn't your beard kind of a mask?
It can be. I mean, if I was different, but that's like something I grew on my own accord without being told by a 19-year-old that works at a restaurant what to do. My response was
intimidating 0 for the next
intimidating
virus.
enough that when you went into places, you were getting away with not wearing a mask because nobody wanted to give you any trouble.
Well, they tried to ask me. They'd be like, "Where's your mask?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm not a cuck. I don't know." And then they just shut up. You know what I mean? They were just like, they literally wouldn't even like. And then I went to Lion's Choice in like the height of this thing, and they're like, "You can't come in with a mask." I'm like, I will never listen to a Lion's Choice like cashier's advice on life. You mean not to be a dick, but I'm just like, I was like, you've done nothing to show me that you have wisdom. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. and they can't counter that because I tell the truth. I'm bigger than them, and I tell the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Hey guys, I got something I gotta take care of, but I appreciate y'all and nice chat.
For you. With you too.
Thanks. It was great chatting with you.
All right, Sean. God bless you. I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely, guys.
Well, now that Sean's gone, I'm just joking.
Who's co-host now?
I don't know. This is the first show where this is like the first show where like the co-host is more famous than the host. Like Sean has like platinum records and stuff. And I'm like, welcome to the Anthony Rogers Show with a more famous co-host. I love that concept, man. Like, that's crazy.
I worked in food service I wasn't gonna tell people to put on their. They wanted to order. I worked at Emo's Pizza until that we get there sometimes. Yeah, I'm not gonna force masks when you're picking up a. And almost got me. Am I still cutting out?
A little bit, but I knew what you said.
You're cutting out terribly. I think we're getting enough that we know what you're saying, though.
Yeah. I worked in able to quit that job, but had to work 8-hour shifts with the man. Have my break and eat my emo. I had a corporate guy come in and tell me in between bites.
To put your mask up between bites?
Yeah, I'm like
so insane. That's so insane.
There was a report made because I put my fucking mask on in between bites.
Oh my god.
That's
Dude,
so
people were such tattletale, like people who hadn't gotten a chance to tattle on anybody since high school. They're like, finally, like my day has come.
Yeah, but like I just feel like they couldn't compete. You know, a lot of these guys. I wore a mask maybe 2 times, arguably. When I voted myself in the primary for Congress, and second when my mom got in the hospital, I wore it like 1 day because I was just like didn't want to argue with people, and then after that I just stopped wearing it. I was just and then like they're they're like ganging up on me, man. They like put like a mask. Like I was doing this in hospitals, man. They put like a mask, like little sticker on the door. Like I'm like, oh, a sticker told me to do it. I guess here's my like, fuck my freedom and rights. You know, a sticker told me, and like and then they gang up on me, and like I'm trying so hard not to call them fat. I mean, I'm just like there's like these 5 to 8 fat ladies just being like, you don't wear a mask. And I'm just like, dude, I can't do this, man. I'm like, I don't call them fat. Don't call them fat. Don't call them fat. You know, the whole, like your mom's in there, so you're not gonna like disrespect people that take care of your mom at the same time. But like from my perspective, but at the same time,
take it out on her.
Yeah. But it's just like they're like trying to tell them, like you have to wear a mask. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm just like, no, I don't. And they didn't. They just stopped arguing most of the time. I mean, they all ganged up on me at one point. They're like, oh, you got to wear a mask. And I'm like, oh, you guys still believe in that? You know, I'm like, you guys still believe that? Like the worst is still today. Dude, I'll go somewhere and like people are wearing masks today. If I'm in Chesterfield or something like that, I go to like Walmart or something. Like these people are still wearing masks. It's how stupid are you?
I find it funny actually nowadays. I'm like, what are you protecting? Like, what are you doing? It's like that. And you honestly, I think it's turned into a social cue more than anything. It's, hey, I'm a part of this group. I think that's what it really it's turned into, because unless you have some ailment that you really need to wear it or whatever, and I doubt it really does too much, honestly, based on everything that I've read on it, like how much it really, because it's really meant from preventing transmission more than anything, not receiving it. Unless you're one of those groups that like you're trying to protect yourself because you have other underlying conditions, or either you're elderly or at super high risk or different things like that. And we have the shots, you know, have been proven not to really be that effective. But there are those out there if you really want to as well. You don't need to wear that for the rest of your life. But hey, you know, if you want to look like a clown the rest of your life, go ahead.
Yeah, it's weird seeing it now.
That's the beauty of America. Don't force other people to do it, but you know, if you want to walk around and look like an idiot, and walk around and look like an idiot. So
I'm glad that it's rare. Like it's weird to see now. I was worried for a second there that like the rest of my life it was going to be normal to see people wearing masks, but we finally gotten to a point where it's like where you see it, it's like, look at that weirdo. You know, it's not so ubiquitous anymore, which is a relief.
Still run into people.
The function's in the name. It's called a surgeon's
wearing them
mask.
alone.
Wearing them alone in their car. Carl, log off and log back on. See if that fixes you.
Those are hilarious. Like I can't tell you how many times I pulled up to like a stoplight. I'm like, who are you protecting? Yourself from yourself?
Or like when you're swimming, you're basically torturing yourself. That's a torture tactic. I mean, they're basically. I mean, like it's like so weird.
Yeah.
I can't see a situation outside of being a surgeon to wear a surgeon mask. It's like if you wore a chef hat, thinking like the virus is going to disappear as you're wearing a chef hat. It's just stupid to me. It's like well, I'm wearing a chef hat. I mean, the virus is very scared of like fine dining. I don't know. So it's just, you know, it's just like to me, it's just insane. And like it was like a world IQ test to me. And it was like the first. I mean, honestly, this will probably look back as a war tactic against America. To be honest, man. And I mean, we have a fake president in there that didn't win the election. We have 60% of the independent business collapsed. The wealth exchange was insane. I mean, we had so much like just crazy stuff happen during that time. And like I just don't understand it, man. I just don't understand how this many people are that stupid. Like I don't know how you could vote for a guy that can't form a sentence. You know what I mean? I don't know how my dead grandparents voted.
Well, you know, people should be able to trust their media, and you know, there was a long time ago where journalism was journalistic, and it's just not where we are anymore. And you know, I try to remember that. I try not to get too bitter or, you know, scornful toward people who wear, you know, still wear masks, or
they're victims,
or you know, people who you know, scolded me for not getting the vaccine or what have you. You know, it's like they're doing what they think is right because they're being told that it's right, and not everybody has access to the same information that we do. Not everybody's as online as we are, and it's important to remember that, and not turn to, you know, hating our fellow man over this and letting it divide us further.
That's a good point. And I think they're victims of propaganda because I think these people have done nothing other than trust their institutions they should be able to trust, but Big Pharma bought them all out, you know? So it's like people think doctors are actual doctors instead of pharmaceutical sales reps. And, you know what I mean? And like, I think that's a big thing that our institutions sold us out. It's like, I mean, if I'm going to be completely honest, I think China owns all of our institutions basically. But the great thing about America is we don't read the manuals. Our institutions don't matter. We'll find new ones. I mean, that's how America is. It's like, oh, you got Nike? Okay, I don't wear Nike. It's fucking. It's not 1992. You know what I mean? It's just like a weird. I don't know. It's just like they have all of our institutions, but our institutions don't matter. They even have the presidency, but the federal government doesn't matter. Even from my perspective, you know what I mean? It's just like a nuts situation. I mean, if Trump was president and the State of the Union was tonight, no one would have been on this live feed. At all. No one would be watching this. But we went on the same time as the State of the Union, and we have hundreds of people watching right now. Like there's, you know what I mean? There's just no like that. There's nobody watching this guy. There's nobody voting for him. It's just like a delusional play, and it seems so out of touch because it's another culture infiltrating our country.
Oh yeah, they got rid of the thumbs downs on YouTube because presumably because every White House address that he did was getting like ratioed like crazy with, you know, way more thumbs downs, and then suddenly they take away that feature, you know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an issue what's going on. It's a big collusion of, you know, the media, different tech industries and everything like that, and the White House all being in the same bubble together, and that is not how the system is supposed to be set up. It's really sad that we've gotten to a certain place. And, you know, speaking on the news piece of it, you know, yeah, the news is polarizing. They really have gotten away from just telling objective, well, you know, essentially subjective news or what? Oh, sorry, objective news. My bad. And move towards just telling whatever their truth is by itself. Now, if they want to do that, though, from a business standpoint, that's fine. I just, you know, I wish they would just call it out and say that, you know, they're partisan to one side or whatever, you know, just say it. They just make it known, you know, make it known to people and stuff like that. And yeah, you can tell by reading it if you get into it and different things like that, but just say what you are. You know, if you're liberal leaning and you like that, do it. You know, there's plenty of other news sources out there that you or anybody else can go to get other news, you know, and it's just going to take away from their profit margins by itself. Mm-hmm. So that's really my thought pattern on it altogether. It's sad to see where we've gone, but it's just, they still promote themselves as the objective truth in it and not, but that's not what's going on. You see all the co-hosts, the anchors, different things like that, and the things that they talk about. It's jarring is really what it is.
From my perspective, all these people just sold us out to the Communist Party, in my opinion, because basically China just prints money, brings it over. I mean, they were caught giving Reddit $200 million. They're caught giving Facebook $300 million. They were caught like basically printing money in their currency, exchanging it to American currency, and then paying off all these people for censorship and stuff like that. Like the FBI's turned against us. They're not in America's best interest, and like just everything you said too, like the media, all these people. They're basically just, I mean, they're bought and sold. These people are not on our team anymore. And be it via blackmail or be it via bribe, they are not on our team anymore. And and that comeback tour, baby, you know, it's like America's about that comeback, you know, and I believe in this more than I believe in anything. Well, maybe not God, I believe in God more maybe, but I'm just saying, like, I believe in country about second, you know, to everything else. And I think guys like you in the office, I'm so happy to hear how well spoken you are. You hear how you care about the people. Actually, I mean, you talk more about that than yourself. I mean, I absolutely love that Missouri has a good politician in your seat, man. I'm really happy about that, to be honest.
Thank you.
No problem. Anybody have any other questions? So I just talk fast as
No,
caffeinated. So.
It makes me very optimistic about the future.
I think we're going to the Renaissance.
I'm actually from the Washington D.C. area. The liberal politics. Happy to be here in a state where the Constitution is still respected to some degree, because my family back here are really struggling right now with the stuff like that. So if we that makes me happy for the future. and
Yeah, and you know,
I think I'm gonna stick around.
hey, happy to have you. But you know, and I think we're getting back to a place, and I think this is where people have to kind of remember American history, American roots, where we're rooted. You know, we focus so much on the federal government and what the federal government's doing, but we're really built on a federalist society. That's the way the country's built. Where, you know, that's the reason we call, you know, the United States, for instance, it's a nation of states. We've all come together under one union for certain purposes. And with that whole federalist idea, we grant certain powers to the federal government, but states retain the majority of powers within it. And that's what I think we're getting back to, especially as the federal government starts to get out of control. You're starting to see state politics become more important than federal politics here. And those are very important things, important indicators by itself, because realistically, you know, your state reps, your state senators, your mayors, you know, of your local municipalities, different things like that, they're going to know the people best than the people in Washington, D.C. You know, they do have a purpose there, people in Washington, D.C., but the people here in this building and, you know, in your hometown are going to know what the people need the best, and they're best suited to try to address those, not the federal government trying to blanket, you know, certain agendas that might be good for New York, but is not good for Missouri. You know, that's the issue that we've had. And that's why I think, you know, outside of the social politics, and so I think that's why we've had so much divide, is because we're trying to blanket solutions and so like that, instead of letting the federalist system by itself work itself out. You know, because like I said, states are going to be able to help its people the best.
Definitely. And weird side, I agree with what you said. And then a weird side note. Are you in the Capitol right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you on a phone, or what kind of device are you on?
I'm on a laptop right now. I'm on my laptop. So.
Did we get a little tour of what you're working with?
I can give you a little bit. It's a little bit messy in here right now. So
No, I'm not judging it. I just never been in your situation, so I want to kind of see what's going on.
Well, no, the last time someone I knew toured a Capitol building, they ended up doing 4 years. So.
It's a velvet.
Hold on a sec. I gotta make sure some things are turned over if there's anything out here. There's not not really much going on here and stuff like that.
So is this your office then?
Yes, it's my office. It's
right, man.
Yeah, just a little refrigerator. It's not huge or whatever, but you make do. So
that's awesome, man. Congrats on your
cool.
success.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Like, I met you at Hill was leaving town for Florida, and that's where I met you originally.
Yep.
And like I knew you were gonna win somehow. I just kind of I usually have a good instinct for that. I was only wrong about 2 people that were running out of like 4 or 5 people that I met, and like I was like I knew you were really reserved and smart, and I'm just like I could tell in your eyes you have rapid eye movement, and you like think about stuff, and I'm like okay, I'm like this is kind of a good guy, and I was kind of hyped to see what you do, and I mean so far so good, man, to be honest.
Well, I'm glad I'm working out so far. You know, make sure you're always honest with me if I'm messing up. I'll say that.
No, no doubt, man. I got no reason to lie ever, man. I mean, unless you're pulling me over or something, I don't really have a reason to lie. You know? I'm just joking. But no, I appreciate it, man. Like, that's crazy though, man. That's just crazy, man. Like I was in Jeff City not too long ago. I've seen the Capitol from the outside, and you have to. I went in there to. I ran for Congress against Cori Bush, so I had to go there to sign that all the stuff to register and stuff. Yeah. But that's the only time I've ever been there, and I do shows in Jeff City all the time, so I see the Cap. You know Jay Fenney's downtown.
Yes.
You been there yet? Yeah, a lot of.
I've not been there yet, but I know where it is.
Yeah. That's why I do a lot of comedy shows there, and a lot of state reps hang out there too. I've met a couple good guys out there, and like this one guy. You know Michael Person yet?
No.
Okay, he's a Democrat, but he's pretty on point though. I mean, I usually don't say those two things together, but he's pretty on point. I met him down there, and like there's you got a lot of good guys around you, man. And I think our governor's still awesome. But I'm saying like I just want to see the bar raised a little bit, you know. Like I still think he's awesome. But I think Missouri's got a lot of good politics going, and I'm like a fanboy of politics almost. Like I just like how our state's doing it, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, the office is always open here. If any of you guys ever feel like taking the trip down to Jeff City and everything like that, you can always give my office a call. We're always happy to give you the tour or whatever, see if we can get you up in the higher piece that a lot of the public can't get to as well, so you can see some of the dome of it as well. You know, if you want to.
You know, I'm gonna take you up
come
on
down.
that.
Yeah, come on down. Like I said,
I'll be there in 2 hours. I'm sorry. I'm just joking.
Hopefully I'm asleep in 2 hours. So I don't know if I can help you there.
No, I'm just
working pretty
door
late
open.
tonight, huh?
Yeah, I do a lot of shows in Jeff City and like the Lake of the Ozarks area, so I'll definitely be out there like a couple times.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a couple things planned. But no, I definitely will take you up on that. That sounds cool, man. Like, any other questions? I mean, anybody else got any questions?
Yeah. If you know, I'm happy to answer any more questions. If there's not any more, I'm gonna probably go ahead and sign off here with you guys.
Just get on
I don't
those
have any more
brick red
questions.
license plates, man.
So I'll make a note of it. I'll go talk to DOR about that.
Awesome here tonight.
I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate your time.
Yeah,
man.
it was a pleasure being on, and like I said, I look forward to continuing to serve the state here. And feel free to always reach out to my office. We're always happy to help, always happy to listen, and see what we can do to make the state even better.
Well, yeah, well, God bless you, Hicks, and I appreciate you like making Missouri look awesome and keep doing it, man. Like keep representing us well, you know.
Okay. All right, thank you. You guys take care.
Hey, brother.
God bless.
Thanks. God bless, man.
Bam. That guy was on point, man. Like that was just super on point.
Yeah, I like him. You know,
Yeah.
You hear, and that's. It's a shame that I forget what amendment it was. Was it the 17th that like got rid of the direct election of senators that kind of connected state government to federal government, where the state legislatures elected the senators. Before
I thought it was the mass murder of the South.
No, that was one of the earlier ones. Yeah.
that was the federal government's earlier work.
Oh, we're getting a little darker now, huh?
Well, now I don't have. Yeah, we don't have a rock star to state rep on here that can ruin their career. So now
nice though. You know, you get you see a lot more of that. Like, I mean, obviously not everybody's that good that's in those positions, but you know, those people are more accessible. Like you can just go take a meeting with them. You know, they really are there representing you a lot of the time. And like I said before, you don't have that so much special interest money coming at them, and not that there's not some of that, I'm sure, but it's but it's not, you know, it's nice.
Thousands.
It's nice that you feel like you actually the representation is actually there, and you actually have somebody's ear, you know, and that's how it should be.
Politics is a very dirty game. It is extremely dirty. And I liked what he said about the media and how he didn't just call out one side of the media, because both sides of the media do this. Like we got to realize that our entire lives, we grew up as kids, going to school, coming home, watching the news with our parents, and we learned to trust those news sources.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they were different back then. I don't know exactly how much different because I was a kid. But we learned to trust those news sources, and they exploited us over that. All of them, on both sides.
They weren't as, like, people kind of, I think people kind of jumped to the conclusion that because they weren't so far left that they weren't, like, biased back then. It was just that politics, the Overton window was in a different place at the time, you know, and they were just operating within that. But it was all still, you know, you know, you just with that system, with you know, in order to make any money doing television, you have to sell advertisements, right? In order to make any money doing this, you have to sell advertisements, and so
Right.
you're if you can't sell advertisements while taking a certain angle, then you have to shift your angle to that of your advertisers. And so, for as long as that's been the system since people were, since news anchors were smoking Chesterfields on the Chesterfield News Hour. There's always been influence.
I
from
feel
the
like I wouldn't
people
let
that
that
ultimately
affect me,
write
but
your checks.
I think a lot of people do let that affect them, but I don't think I'd let that affect me. I mean, I have certain sponsors that are super like Republican as well, like Revolution Coffee or like Luxurious Bastard Beard Oil. They're like way more Republican. They like that I'm Republican and all that stuff. But a lot of these guys,
Well, you're forced to take a pro hot sauce position.
Yeah,
for one thing.
fair. Yeah. Big hot sauce is really influencing my decisions here. Like, yeah, but no, it's.
I can really
see, like most of my
on the show.
Most of my sponsors just care about numbers. Like that's all they give a fuck about. They want to have a famous person attached to the brand, and then they want to have numbers, and they don't really give a fuck if I'm Republican or wrong. They just are you still
results.
Republican?
I am not anything anymore.
You libertarian?
I'm not even libertarian. I checked completely out of politics.
Oh, okay. You were Republican for a long time.
I was, yeah. Yeah, I started out life as Democrat and then switched over Republican, and now I'm nothing. And I like it that way. I don't even really pay attention to politics anymore.
That's the way to do it. I mean, everything's a matter of right and wrong, not a matter of parties. And there's going to be certain parties that represent your interests better than others generally. But it's at the end of the day, if you think in terms of party first, then you're going to end up supporting things that you wouldn't otherwise support, and opposing
Absolutely.
things you otherwise oppose.
That's a strong point, Mike. I agree.
You got to think of everything in terms of good and evil. You got to have a firm moral foundation, or where you're going to get swept up in things that benefit other
Political
people, not your nation.
Align to your own foundation, not somebody else's.
Yeah,
and that's where I'm at. So I can take information and accept what I want to accept, and not accept what I don't want to accept. I don't have to tie myself to a political party, and I won't, because I've seen it on both sides. I've seen the craziness on both sides. So I didn't know this was going to be a political podcast tonight.
It's hard not to get political,
but it's been good.
These days,
No, it is. And speaking of sponsors, like one of the sponsors is watching right now. That's kind of funny. So Steve Ravenberg, he's one of his glamping company in the beginning was it's like notglamping.com. He's Republican. He was actually at.
Are you doxing him right now?
No. He's in the comments. His name's already on the screen. His name's on the screen next to your face.
This is a very hard screen to read, and if I tilt my head at the right angle, there's that like in my ear.
It's like an axle falling off.
He was at that Italian restaurant debate. Remember? But when I first met you, Mike, he was. Remember that debate, that Italian restaurant?
Oh yeah. How could I
there?
I always say my. Who was there?
Steve Ravenberg, one of the sponsors for the notglamping.com. He owns that.
Was he one of the guys that got up and criticized you for cursing?
No, he hung out with them and just like they thought he was one of them. So he like.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we had spies in there. But no, yeah, he was one of the guys there. And
my greatest regret is not filming that. That is literally the greatest regret of my life.
I wish I could just like show, like I try to tell people about that. I wish I could just like show people that. Yeah, no, I wish.
Because you got the black phone snitch meme guy. The guy that's like on his phone. With the teal shirt. Like that actual guy was there, and Anthony told him to shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. Because he was like asking patronizing questions, and he did. He did.
Good boy. But
it was, and I had never met Anthony before. We went there because we were friends with Alex Furman, the Libertarian nominee, who was running against Anthony. And so we went there to just like, because I guess our buddy Luke Rolfing had somehow like had connected with Anthony and knew that this thing was happening. And so we were going there to like lightly heckle him, not knowing anything about Anthony, right? It was just going to be like a lighthearted kind of like, you know, I don't know what, but we get there and it was just the wildest thing I've ever seen. You know, they're like, oh, we've got this special guest, Anthony Rogers, who's the nominee for state rep, not state rep, House of Representatives, you know, District 1, and he's gonna say a few words. And Anthony gets up, he's like, well, yeah, my fucking opponent's a literal fucking communist who lives in her fucking car, so like, you know, you're kind of fucking retarded if you don't vote for me, something like that, and just talking a mile a minute, you know, and yeah. Then the phone snitch guy gets up and he's like, oh, how many people are in your congressional district? And Anthony's like, he's like, I want to know if you know how many people are in your district. Anthony's like, yes. Next question. And he's like, how many? He's like, what, dude? You don't have Google? It's like, I want to know if you know. 700,000. The guy's like, it's 730,000. And Anthony's like, oh, you fucking got me. And then he tries to ask another question. He's like, no, you asked your fucking question. Sit the fuck down. No, shut up. Sit the fuck down. And he did. He did. And I'm sitting there. Remember, I walked into this not knowing a thing about Anthony. I walk into this and see that, and I'm just too slack-jawed to take my phone out and film this incredible exchange. Again, literally the greatest regret of my life. Like, what are you gonna do?
They're like, do you think you have a chance to win? I'm like, yes. Next question. I answer everything like yes and no's. I'm like, yes. Next. And like, I was monitoring my own questions.
They lied. They're just like, okay, well, we're gonna wrap up a little early because of the football game tonight. It's like the Rams had left St. Louis. Like, what football game? You know, they just like made something up, and we walk to the bar. We're talking over there. We hear them like start the meeting back up. They were just trying to get rid of Anthony. I'm like, hey, you want to come back to my house and be degenerates? And Anthony's like, yes. We've been
the greatest thing of that campaign for me was flipping it on Fox 2 and seeing Anthony Rogers' name on there and a freaking cartoon of his face.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the official campaign photo. And you beat two live action people for the nomination.
Well, and then like the news during the main election, they're like we're not using a cartoon, we're not going to be made fools of again, you know. And then I didn't even send them a picture, so they couldn't even use a picture. They had like a silhouette the next time, and like we won't be looking like fools again, you know. It was like I had a good time with that.
Character yet?
Yeah. I can't wait till I'm governor, you know. It's gonna be great. But dude, so
I wish they had like the silhouette and then like a little question mark over your face. Like, who's that Pokemon?
Who's that Pokemon? Dude, that's funny. All right. I'm gonna get edgier now. Hey, Michaela, do you care if I read jokes I have? Are you gonna get mad?
I don't get mad.
I want your reaction. I to trans.
I don't get mad anymore since I started estrogen.
All right. I want your natural reaction. Don't bullshit me. I want your natural reaction to these jokes, okay? If they're funny, if they're bullshit, I just want a real. And if you don't watch this podcast, you're racist and transphobic because we had a 1% black representative on here, and we have a trans woman on here. So if you don't watch this podcast, you're transphobic and racist. I just want to let you know. But that has nothing to do with you, Michaela. I'm just letting you know, the viewers that are, if you're not watching this, if you're not one of the 274 people watching this right now, you're fucking racist and you're transphobic. That's my point. All right, let me just get my set real fast. Let me see what I got here. It starts
I'm both
with
of those things, and I'm on here. So,
but where's let me see if this is edgy podcast YouTube entertainment. This is I'm just joking. All right, anyway. So where does it go? Where's the joke? Okay, I was like, shouldn't we just call fat people they them? What do you think of that joke? Is that it? Michaela, what's your vote? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
It's okay.
It's okay. Okay, we'll get going.
Yeah, it's not. I didn't really bust up laughing to that one.
Okay, we'll keep going.
But yeah, they might get better as we go. Who knows?
Hopefully, that's the goal. But I don't know. You're like, I go. I'm not transphobic. I don't hate them because they're trans. I hate them because they're women. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, it's okay.
Man, I'm failing this class right now. I'm failing this class. Okay, hang on one
I mean,
second.
why would you hate women though? Like women birthed you.
Well, no, women didn't. A woman did.
To get into that,
Right. All right. Next.
I feel like I'm bombing. I feel like I'm bombing right now, and I'm not used to this because usually I only bomb Acusimanos. So it's like, I already made this joke earlier though, so I'm gonna read it again though. I'm like, why is everyone coming out as trans? It's like you're born a dude, and you want to fuck that up. You want to be a woman, the second best gender. Why fuck up being a man? What do you think about that one? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
It's. I mean, I don't know. Maybe work on them a little bit. That one.
We're gonna workshop it.
We're gonna get out the trans jokes and go with like, Elon Musk is what a dumbass thinks a smart person sounds like. What do you think of that one? Man, I'm crickets, motherfucker. Fuck you guys. I thought you were all my friends.
Look,
no fake.
I'm on the Florida Space Coast.
You said it was going to be edgy. Do something racial.
Okay.
Like I'm on the Florida Space Coast, and I went and watched SpaceX satellites get launched in the sky last night, and Elon Musk is behind that. So, I mean, I can't really call the guy that dumb.
Okay.
If he's launching SpaceX satellites in the sky.
All right. Well, let's get at you. All these pronouns are confusing. I don't know.
I still like him because he's South African.
I'm like, yeah. I like him because he's half black. All right. All these pronouns are confusing. I don't know what to call anyone anymore. Can we just go back to calling them all faggots?
Nice.
No laughter.
That's an applause. That's an applause line. You get applause for that, not laughs.
No laughs at all.
That's what modern comedy is all about. It's all about getting applause and not telling any jokes at all.
Well, I thought it was edgy enough. I thought it was edgy enough to get like laughs, but it didn't work. Okay. Hopefully it goes better in Hawaii because they're paying me. But
I didn't want my mic.
I've heard most of these because you're like, yo, I'm at Kusamanos. Come out and watch me do jokes that I'm gonna try to tell you again later.
That's true.
I think I heard some of these on TikTok too one time. Did you post some of these on TikTok?
I think these are really offensive.
Well, I was hoping to get a laugh out of Michaela, but no laughs at all. Okay, so these just suck. Okay.
From TikTok.
I was wondering if is burlesque French for fat? Is that a good joke?
That's good. Yeah, that's a good one.
That was this one. Michaela doesn't laugh at it. Okay, I need to get a joke from Michaela to laugh. I wrote these jokes like I saw a guy with a Desert Storm in Vietnam veteran hat. He lost a lot of wars. I don't know. Man, I need to write a new set. I'm bombing like I feel like Sean Brennan right now.
It's like it's like a participation award. All four.
Yeah, I didn't even.
You're not drunk enough to be Sean Brennan.
My goal, yeah, fair, or fat enough. My goal was basically to make Michaela laugh at a trans joke, but it didn't work. So I failed as a human being today. As my
you got more.
All that estrogen is, yeah. Take it.
All right, let's see what you got this time.
It's probably just bad writing, but it was like what is this? Okay, this one I actually wrote this after a conversation with Mike. We were talking, so Mike probably heard half this because it's probably half his idea. But I was like, black people think that white people don't season their food because they've only had white people food in prisons, hospitals, and schools. That's not a proper representation for food. You know that we conquered the known world chasing spices. I don't know.
It's true. It's another applause line,
Yeah,
good
Michaela
white
hasn't cracked one time.
Good whites only audience, that'll go over well.
Whites only audience.
Yeah, I think Hawaii's still segregated, isn't it?
Oh yeah, they hate white people there.
They're the southernmost state. People don't realize that.
That's
Hawaii is.
Mm-hmm.
I had no
I didn't
idea.
even think about it. That's probably true as fuck. Holy shit! I didn't even think
Longitudes and
about that.
latitudes. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. That's totally true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna change the subject instead of me bombing.
To Guam.
We're
We're gonna change the subject to Guam.
Yeah. I'm like, man, I should just stick to podcasting. There's still like
I don't know.
almost
There's
300 people
some
watching.
audience. Like it sounds like they've heard the jokes before. So
Well, I wanted to see if I could get you to laugh at a trans joke, but it didn't work out. That was my goal, but it didn't work out. So maybe next time I'll get better. I'll write some better jokes.
okay, yeah, next time.
Next time. So why do you have a
I
pool?
don't know.
Why are you
It's kind of hard for me because I relate with people a lot more than I used to. I didn't know about how this journey was going to be until I got on this journey. I had an idea of how it would be, and that's why I waited so long to do it. So, and now I relate with people a lot more, and I understand. I get what people go through, and I have empathy for people now. So it's kind of hard for me to. Like I really feel bad for some of the people out there that have been dealt a shit show in life. It's really it's really sad to see. So
you did become a woman. I can tell.
I mean, look at my truck.
I'll just say you care about people now. That's such a woman thing to say. But,
I do. I do care about people. And I want everybody to succeed. I want everybody to be happy and succeed. And that's and I used to have this mentality of, suck it up. If your life sucks, fuck you. My life sucks too. You can suck it up. And I don't really feel like that anymore. I understand. I get it. I understand it. It's a bitch. And instead of telling people to fuck off and suck it up, wouldn't it be great if we could help each other succeed? Like if we could everybody, and I'm talking about everybody, help each other succeed. And it's kind of, it might seem like a lost cause, and it might be in some kind of ways, but in my core values, that's how I feel.
Well, I think that's what we're doing tonight. We're kind of merging tribes and stuff. I mean, I think that with like everybody has a crazy fan base kind of in the conversation. I feel like that's kind of what tonight was. The concept of just getting a bunch of people together with fans and shit, and just talk. And we got 300 people watching this somehow. I remember doing this stuff, and I'd have 5 people watching. You start with 5, and I was one of them on YouTube on my phone. I was like one of the guys watching the comments on my phone. It'd be 5 people are on here. And I'm like, oh wow, now it's 272. It's crazy. You know what I mean? It's that's not bad. I mean, it's not like Joe Rogan numbers, but still not bad.
It's pretty damn good. I mean, it is the Anthony Rogers show. So
well, plus everybody. I mean, Mike and Carl have a huge show, and they have a huge Telegram of 18,000 people that their show is on, and I'm on that network with them and stuff. So I mean, that helped out. And then Sean's a rock star. I mean, he has a bigger fan base than me, and and then we had a state ramp, and then so I mean, it makes sense why I don't know why they're still here, but I mean, I know why.
It's because Carl's so pretty.
Yeah, Carl is. Carl's in.
That's half hour ago. Yeah, I'm not here anymore.
But I've been enjoying being here with you all. You've been writing, you're drawing.
It's a good doodle. You're
it's
not too bad. Yeah.
Your
Human
chappiness
Garfield,
of your
that's
video
great.
is now a repetitive instead of cutting it apart in a weird cubist way. So it's we can actually hear you now, Carl. Yeah, you sound good now. I mean, still choppy, but it's like a tremolo effect rather than some Pablo Picasso nightmare.
But you look
it's much better.
You look better than you sound,
Yeah, and you look great.
You look amazing. Yeah, no, not to make this.
I got
weird.
my Tabasco
you look good
tie
in
on.
green, Carl.
There you go. It's a hot tie.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
So where are we taking this from here? How do we possibly make this better? We had 280 people watching right now. I feel like a
oh man, that's that's a high bar.
It's a waste just to leave, But I feel like I'm gonna do it to him, I don't know. I was joking.
Leave the people wanting more,
Yeah.
So look at this. Look, can you guys see the comments?
What
on the screen?
This all about?
Yeah.
The screen's literally from 1988. So,
Dude, that's the
Let me
best
go to,
comment we've had.
let me
That's
go to
the,
YouTube.
What is this about?
It's about nothing.
No, it's just
yeah, basically. My God.
That's the great thing about it.
Yeah. Thank you for even watching. And let's bring up another controversial story. Micah fired me for my first radio job.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
For being too edgy.
You've told me that story a bunch of times. I didn't put two and two together there.
Oh, well, that's not fun if everybody already heard it. But the people listening probably haven't. But,
well, the people listening haven't.
So, what's this all about?
Like,
Thanks.
are you wanting me to tell this story?
Yeah, you should tell the story, and I'll tell the story just to be funny.
You should tell it at the same time and talk over each other.
Okay, deal. I'm just joking.
I don't want to tell the story. I really don't.
You have to. It's funny. I think it's funny. I'm not mad at it. I just think it's funny.
Go ahead, Anthony. You can tell it. I'll back you up.
All right. Tell me where it's wrong. Tell me where it's right. Yeah. So we had.
Yeah. Thumbs up if it's right. Thumbs down if it's wrong.
Deal. So
your advances.
Before
I ever even. That's a long thumb.
Yeah. It's weird seeing it in a green screen on your computer. It's so weird.
It's not. It's because these lights. It's not a green screen. This is real.
No, look at Mike's. Look at.
No,
Mike's
I've got a
screen.
literal green screen.
That. Yeah. Okay.
Monitor from
yeah, he has an old IBM.
1988.
Yeah. But okay,
normally use it as a prop, and this is the first time I've actually used it for a live stream. I'd always intended to,
so
but
great.
Dreaded the day because it's very painful in the eyes.
It's so great though.
And the ears.
Your Important Business Meeting is awesome. And if you're watching this also, check out Important Business Meeting. Google it. You go to Murder the Media's Rumble, Murder the Media, or rumble.com/user/Murder the Media. And they have a podcast on there. They do this like 80s kind of a podcast called Important Business Meeting, and it's epic, man. It's actually it's like a very original idea for a podcast. So if you're watching that.
If you don't remember that link, it's you can also just go to mtm.show. We bought that so that you can just type in something short and it takes you right to the Rumble. We've also got a splorf.tv, which will take you to our new YouTube channel, Splorf TV.
Thank you, Murder the Media, for backing my stupid cell phone show as well. And I really appreciate it. And but to get back to where it all started, this is where the show, the Anthony Rogers Show, started. Micah owned a station called The Edge. The Edge. It was a Texas radio station. And it started there, and we had this we started getting out of nowhere. We just had big guests. I have no idea how I pulled it off, to be honest with you. I could act like I knew what I was doing, but I didn't. I was like an idiot in my apartment.
Anthony has always pulled big guests. Yes.
Yeah, somehow I have no idea how. Like one of the first was like Jordan Belfort. Like
because
that was
you asked,
and that was on basically. But it's just
people are scared to ask.
It's 90% of it. It's just asking.
Fair. It's weird that they say yes.
I don't
more than
you do.
It's weird that they say yes to me more so than I ask, but it's like or even answer me. But no, so we started there and we started getting like big guests and stuff, and then we were just my buddy Bruce and I would just fuck with all the other DJs that Micah had to deal with. Micah had to babysit both of us, and we would basically we would just make fun of all the other DJs like relentlessly, like just fucking relentlessly, and we were just like one guy even had cancer. We made fun of having cancer, but it was like I kind of regret that one a little bit. But that was kind of funny. And then I
don't know. I just I was working in the oil field at that time. I was out there doing pipeline X-rays, and I had people blowing up my phone constantly. I had no cell phone service. And then I'd have 150 messages on my phone. And I'm I can't deal with this shit right now. So, I mean, in some ways, you did what you were supposed to do, in some ways.
I feel like the only
so
mistake
thumbs up for that.
The only mistake you made, I feel like, was telling me I could say whatever I want. And
yeah, that's how I am. I believe in personal freedom, and I believe people should be able to say whatever they want. But I also had a brand that was going national at the time, and there were some lines, that I had to watch,
Yeah.
And the cancer thing with that DJ, that was something I had to I didn't want to make that decision. You know, I love you, dude. I always have. You know, I didn't want to make that decision, but
Don't feel sad about it. It's funny to me. This is all
I'm
funny.
not sad. Yeah.
Just make sure. I think it's hilarious. Okay, so and then so we do this thing. I think the thing that got me fired the first time, and I was fired, rehired. It was the first time I got fired. I asked what was the best song to kill yourself to, and like people were just getting so mad.
Now that wasn't for me, right? That was from somewhere else.
Yeah, that was on the Facebook feed. You gave me admin access to the Edge. They had like 40,000.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what's the best song to kill yourself to? And everybody got all mad. And then like one of the girl DJs goes, "You have a small dick probably," or something like that. And I go, "I can literally see you have small tits. Like, what are you talking about? I can literally tell by looking at you have small tits." And then she got so mad. And then like this whole thing happened where the Edge just turned into a station where all the DJs were shit talking the morning show, because we went from afternoon to morning show pretty fast too. Because like Micah had a show, but she would work in the oil field.
Michaela, yeah.
So I went from afternoon to morning, and then everybody was so pissed.
Get my fucking name right, Anthony. It's been like a year.
Well, you were.
Mike.
Wait, what?
I said, get my fucking name right. It's Michaela.
Well, when I was telling the story, you were Mike.
Oh, I was still Mike back. Okay,
yeah,
all right.
You were
Yeah.
Mike. That's where I keep fucking up. But that's where I'm like, you. It's like shit was so funny to me. I'm literally just talking shit on like in my girlfriend's apartment, just like making fun of everybody. And like and we had a fucking like we started with like a tablet. I'm like interviewing Guar with like an Amazon Fire tablet. It was like all these and then I would have like a setup too. I'd have a cell phone and a tablet like this, and I'd like interview people on speakerphone and have a tablet record it, and that's how I would do it in the beginning. And like
and I loved it because it was real. I loved it because it was freaking real. It was awesome.
Yeah, we would just roast everybody. And Michaela didn't want to be in the middle of it, basically. I can tell. He like took like a neutral stance. It was just like, well, my fucking wife's yelling at me. All my best friends are yelling at me. All like I put a lot of pressure, and I understand that. But it was like, to me, it's a funny story to tell back. I don't get emotional about it. I think it's kind of funny. And like it's where everything starts, you know. And like and I think that we were just interviewing like huge porn stars and huge stars for like no reason. I have no idea. Like everyone else was going for like local acts or something, and I was just like, fuck local bands. You know what I mean? I still feel that way. And like and I think that like like you know what I mean? Fuck the local scene. Like fuck the local scene. If it was doing shit, it wouldn't be called the local scene. It'd just be called the scene. You know what I mean? So it's just like I'm just saying like fuck.
Don't if you have a let me say this. If you have a band, don't stay local. Get in your fucking van and tour. Yeah. Get in your van and go city to city, state to state, and get your name out there, because if you put your faith in any local scene, you're screwed. You're screwed from the beginning. You might as well pack up and go home. Get your ass in your van, go state to state and tour.
Yeah, this is like the best show in the universe, not the best show in St. Charles. You know what I mean? That's like how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm boring Carl now. Carl's like, he's like looking for an exit strategy.
I'm having a great time.
He's like,
I want to know what song or the best song to off yourself to.
Well, I don't think they necessarily answered it. They just got sad. And they just like bitched about it. Like some people answered, I think. I don't like my answer or like what they. Well, my answer would be, I don't know. I put like some really shitty song on loop to where the person that found me has to listen to it. You know, like or something. You know what I mean?
But I can understand why people would be upset about that, though, because like I personally know people that have committed suicide. You know, and so I can but I don't know what song they were listening to. Like, but I don't know if they're listening to the song. I have no idea. I have no idea. But I mean, I can understand. I mean, suicide awareness is a big thing. I don't want anybody checking out. You know, I want everybody to be happy and healthy and successful.
That's what I want. I wasn't aware of it until tonight. I looked it up while you guys were talking about it. I've never heard.
Whatever you do, don't try it. And but I know
it's the one thing I've done right my entire life is not killing myself.
But I mean, okay, so cancel culture, for example,
everything else, but never.
Like cancel culture to me, cancel culture is insane. I've been fired from everything I've ever done because people just get mad all the time. And so this is nothing new. It's just funny because this is the podcast where the Anthony Rogers Show started. And but I'm saying like it's like me being like I don't like that the president can't form a sentence, but he doesn't get fired. You know what I mean? It's like I don't like that everyone's an idiot around me, but they don't get fired. I mean, and I don't even want that. I don't think anybody should have their their livelihood jeopardized because of a disagreement. That's like more or less how I feel. And I feel freedom of press, freedom of speech, and I also feel like for your sake, freedom of business. I mean, you're able to make a business decision because it's your business, and that's why. I mean, I can see every side of it at this point. You know what I mean? And at any point, really. And I think it's kind of funny. It's just like I think everything in the world's like full circle right now, and it's fun. It's fun. It just reminded me tonight that's where it all started. I mean, your radio show or your radio station is where it's all started. Thanks for even giving me an opportunity when no one even would at that time. I don't think anybody believed in me whatsoever. As far I didn't even believe me at the times. I didn't know I could do it. You know what I mean?
I've always 100% believed in you, Anthony. 100%.
I know you've always had my back, and I appreciate that.
And even go back to Kill the Goat days.
That was fun.
And so I met Anthony on Craigslist, and should I say what section? So should I say what section it was?
What section was it? I don't remember this. What section was it?
It was the musician section.
That's
okay?
right. You played drums. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I played drums, and Anthony. No, Anthony was a singer, and I was trying to start a band up at the time. It was right before I was in What Was Lost. This was like right before What Was Lost started, and Anthony was a singer. I played drums, and Anthony came over to my house, and I knew as soon as he walked in that this dude was different than other people, and I knew this dude had a future, and I knew this dude was going to kick ass in life, and that's what you've done, So, and that's what you continue to do, and it doesn't matter. If somebody gets mad and shuts you down, or I didn't get mad, but if somebody, shuts down what you're doing, you find a way to keep moving forward, and you always will. And that's what sets you apart from 99.9% of other people out there.
Well, thanks. No, I appreciate that. And I forgot. Yeah, I pretended to be. I larped as a singer. Mike's actually a very good singer. Mike, not Michaela, Mike in the corner. But no, he's actually a damn good fucking singer, and that's why it's kind of funny for you to say that I was a singer in front of him. Because I feel like I tried to be, but I definitely tried really hard to be. But no, I wasn't much of a musician. That's why I went to comedy. And I tell Sean that co-host, Sean Danielson, I tell him that all the time. I go, if I was talented, I'd be in a band. I'm just not talented. So I went into other things. And you also backed me on running for office. You were one of the first press I had whenever I ran for office. Nobody touched the story because everybody's worshiping the ground that illiterate moron walked on or wobbled on, I guess. But it was just it was just but you were one of the first press I had too with your show. And I appreciate that too, man. So I know it's everything's in a weird full circle kind of way right now. I'm noticing I don't know how many listeners know this story, but my mom's very sick, so I'm actually in a basement in my parents' house because I'm not because I'm a loser. Well, that's different. It's just two different reasons. Because I'm
unrelated.
Because I know, they're unrelated. But no, I'm actually helping my mom. And I feel like she's about to be on her last part of being sick, and she's we got her walking now. We got her eating full meals and stuff. We got her straight kicking ass right now. And I'm really proud of all the progress. But that's just one of the examples of it being full circle. And another thing is meeting Mike and Carl. I mean, I was one of the people. I feel correct me if I'm wrong. I feel when I hung out with Carl the first time, I'm you need to be a comedian. Immediately, I'm just you need to be a fucking comedian. You're cracking me the fuck up. No one makes me laugh like you're hilarious.
And then, talking, you told me that. So, and
the first times I met Carl.
Yeah.
And then same with Mike too. I mean, I saw potential in everybody on this screen. Everybody's been on the show, to be honest. I saw potential tonight. Everybody's on the show tonight. But I'm saying it's almost full circles. We used to talk about Mike and Carl used to talk about having a podcast, and then now they have one, and they have a decent listener base, and then people actually give a fuck about what they say, and that's rare in podcasting. Everybody has a podcast,
awesome.
But not everybody has listeners, And I think that's the most important thing. And I feel this weird full circle thing. Everybody kind of we went from talking about this in Mike's kitchen to now they have a show, and now they're on this show. It's and we've been talking about being on this show forever, and I'm always ugh. And because I'm always overbooking shit and trying not to have that 6 people on the show at once, but fuck it, we did tonight, and it was awesome. And and I think it's this weird full circle thing.
Remember Mike's kitchen gathered around a certain plate, talking about everything.
Yeah, we started 7 businesses that night, and we stuck with one.
It was a different time.
And different. I definitely grew up since then too. But it's everything's full circle. Everything we talked about is happening, and we still have 268 people listening to this fucking mumble rant I'm doing, and everybody else talking. It's this is the dream, guys. I mean, we fucking made the dream. We just have to keep doing it. it's like I don't know how the fuck I have a rock star as a co-host. I mean, my co-host, I looked up to that dude forever since I was like 16.
Yeah, same here.
Now,
yeah.
And now
Like, to be on with him tonight was pretty badass. Yeah.
When Dick from Murder the Media was on your show, he's like, you can see the moment where he realizes who that is, who Sean is. And because he knew the song, he knew his music, and like he texted me afterwards, like, dude, I didn't know I was gonna be on with him. I'm like, yeah, Anthony pulls some tail,
It's fucking nuts. This is the dream, though. We're in the dream right now. You know what I mean? This isn't the beginning. This isn't the end. This is like we're in the middle of the fucking dream right now. And that's what's important. And like what Mikey was saying earlier, it was just like you want everybody to succeed and stuff like that. I feel the same way. I feel like I have a dark sense of humor, but I feel like the same fucking way that overall, I feel like I want more for people than they want for themselves a lot of times. And I got in like some big argument last night about that. I'm like, just like, and I think Mikey saw that too on fucking Facebook. I was just like telling people being sober is not an accomplishment, being fucking losing weight is not an accomplishment. It's like ground floor, and then ground floor is like the base of which you build accomplishment on. And people can't handle that because they're so used to getting fucking brownies for everything. You know what I mean? And like fucking like awards for no reason. And like maybe that's a dark way of looking at it, but I want people to know that. I want people to know that they can do so much better than they fucking think they can. Like I was a fat piece of shit last year that was worried about my heart problems, and I got like muscles now. I'm fucking like I'm running laps and shit. I'm running miles and shit now. You know what I mean? It's like I went from being like a fat piece of shit to a chubby piece of shit, in like a year.
Yeah, like, man, I can confidently tell you that we wouldn't be a part of Murder the Media. We wouldn't have a show. We wouldn't be doing it if we wouldn't have met you. You talked about it like we were already doing it, and you made it easy to transition into actually doing it.
Well, and thanks for having my back still, man. I mean, like
the fire.
You guys welcome me to. Well, I appreciate that. You guys welcome me to Murder the Media and stuff. I appreciate all that, man. I appreciate just like everybody that being a resource to me, and I really appreciate that. And like I try to cross promote as much as I can. I try to do as much as I can back, and like that way I'm not like a burden or something. I feel like I like the collection of tribes we're kind of doing right now. And I mean, like it's just getting crazy, man. Like I mean, all of our dreams are about to just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
So to me, and I had to trade everything for this, and I didn't think I was going to have to at first. I thought I pulled a fast one and got away with it. The things that I were afraid of happened after I transitioned, and I'm in a part of my life to where I'm rebuilding, but I'm all about finding that core foundation, and it's not hard to find. Any of us can look in who we are. Anthony, you've always lived your core foundation. Like there's never been a divide between you and your core foundation, and that's why you're deadly, dude. I mean, you really are. And for me, there was a great divide there, and I don't know how I was successful all those years. I mean, I wasn't like uber successful or anything, but I don't know how I was so successful with that divide. But I always knew in the back of my mind that I had something that I couldn't tell anybody about that I was dealing with, and I was externally aligned, but I was internally fucked. It was a huge internal divide versus who I was and who I was being. And I knew I had to confront it one day, and I did. And I confronted it, and then what happened is I became internally aligned. And go ahead and laugh, Carl. I became internally aligned. I don't give a fuck. I became internally aligned.
I'm just
okay. I became internally.
No, look at the comments, Margaret. Like,
I don't give a fuck. You are the hate facts. Like you can't even put your real name on there. So I became internally aligned, and externally everything just became completely obliviated, and that's fine because now I'll become externally aligned with internally aligned, and I'm going to line up and I'm going to do great things in this world and have a great life, and I'm going to help other people do that too. I'm not saying I'm going to my message is not just for transgender people. My message is for anybody that's not being them true selves. If you're not true to your core, whatever that is and whatever that looks like, that's where it all starts. and to me personally, I believe that our lives do not start until we get true to our core, whatever that is.
I think your thing was always out working everybody. Like you'd be up at like 4 in the fucking morning, like out working
Still
everybody.
up, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
be
like
up
a
at 4,
dude.
yeah.
I'm a dude that like fucking sleeps all day, smokes weed all the time, wakes up like noon. I'm like and a half asses it, you know, and not as much anymore. But I think your work ethics would set you apart. I think that's why you had these really big Texas groups and like people listen to your stuff and like I think that's what a blonde was. What the fuck? Last week a lady got sucked into a jet plane's engine. Like what?
It's true.
I
had a friend actually miss a flight because of that.
That's a true story. Okay, I never heard this. I didn't know if I was being trolled or not.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing because of that, by the way. I'm laughing at the other comment over there. So
which one?
I don't care what people say. Go ahead and say whatever you want. The one that says get in line with a therapist, you whack job. So
I was actually what's funny if you're watching this, like I actually asked Micah ahead of time if I could have a crude sense of humor and kind of like mock this a little bit, and didn't give a fuck at all. Yeah, I actually appreciated that sense of humor, and I've known you since I was like, I mean, at least like 10 years, probably way more than that. I have to do the math. I don't want to, but probably like
2008,
maybe like
2009.
That's what I'm saying. So you've been my friend forever. So I want to make sure that I was like not gonna be too ridiculous while still being funny. You know, I think that was like what I was about, and I wanted to make sure. And you just like, I don't give a fuck, be yourself. I'm like, deal, you know.
And just be you. That's my message. Like, how could I tell anybody to not be themselves around me? Just fucking be yourself. I don't care. You know, be you. I'll be me. Don't tell me not to be me, and I won't tell you not to be you. Like, you have your personal freedoms. I have my personal freedoms.
No, I definitely. No, it's crazy. Like, I just think, what the fuck? Hate has no place in earnest misogyny. Wow, these comments are getting great right now. I almost don't even want to fucking get off here, but I feel like we should end at the slow point because we've already been talking for 2 hours, and I have to like fucking do some shit. But I was gonna say, like, God bless all of you, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this show, to be on the show. I appreciate you guys like taking the time to be on this stupid fucking cell phone podcast, and like I appreciate people even watch this. Otherwise, we'd just be delusional people talking over each other instead of fucking successful people talking over each other. You know. And I think that
sorry, I don't take any stock in comments from somebody named Hate. So,
well, that's not his real name.
Yeah, but I mean, come on.
That's his legal name.
His real name's what?
He's a nice
His real name's
guy.
Love Facts. But anyway, but no, thanks for watching,
Love
everybody. I'm gonna get out of here and return back to real life. It was a pleasure talking to my friends on this podcast. It's crazy. It's a business strategy or a business plan rather. I appreciate everything. I'm gonna get the fuck off here and. God bless you. Anthony.